You know, for me, the way I play games, 9 times out of 10, once I've finished a game, that's it. You know, it's very rare that I turn around and I go back and I replay an older game that I had already finished. Alright. The vampires have a giant distribution hub. And today, we're shutting it down. Let's go find it. Okay, we've already got some boxcars around us. So we're in Dickson now, which is the train hub. And what I believe is... yeah, this place got messed up. Is their distribution hub. So... pick up some bucks. Kind of look around. Grab what we can. Got some TNT to blow up here. Okay, so we got some more bucks over off to the left. And we got some screeching monsters off in the distance. And we got an open area, which means we are gonna probably be kicking some butt. Maybe. Or maybe not. Okay, well, we're just getting into it. I'm sure by now you've seen the news, the unfortunate news of Sony coming out and letting everybody know that by the beginning of 2028, they are no longer going to be providing physical copies of their games. Okay, so now we got ourselves some vampire duelists. Oh. Okay. Those guys are pretty crazy. I didn't want to do that. Yeah, they got... well, I don't know what kind of guy this is. Those guys are creepy looking. Yeah, they're like old, they're like Western style, like vampire guys. That's funny. I don't think so, buddy. But back to what we were talking about. So Sony is not going to be providing physical copies of their media starting at the beginning, or with new releases in 2028, which is crazy. I know a lot of us have kind of been able to see the writing on the walls, but I don't think we thought it was coming this quick, which is super sad too. You know, I mainly play on PC now, and this is gonna affect different people in different ways, in my opinion. You're gonna get some people that it doesn't really bother. I mean, at the end of the day, when it comes down to the way I play games and the way I am, it's not going to affect me hardly at all. I mean, you know, the you'll own nothing and like it saying is, of course, in full effect. Especially when it comes to that type of thing, 100%. But oh man, come on. Oh my goodness, I actually died. Those guys are actually, like, I don't know, that's just a kind of a tough combination of enemies. But regardless, so I think there's like 3, if I, you know, had to say so, there's like three main types of gamers, right? You've got the people like me, I'll start with myself because I know myself, you know. You know, for me, the way I play games, 9 times out of 10, once I've finished a game, that's it. You know, it's very rare that I turn around and I go back and I replay an older game that I had already finished. And it's just a personal preference of mine. That's kind of how I've always been. You know, I finish a game, I move on to, you know, whatever I'm getting into next. Then you've got your, I guess, second archetype, which is, you know, your person that likes to have physical games. They like to actually, you know, collect them. And it's perfect for them because they not only, let me get out of there, I'm getting my butt kicked again. You know, they like to build a collection, and they like to have them, and they like to go back and play old games. You know, and now mind you, when I say all this, I'm not saying one is better than the other, or anybody's better or worse for, you know, the way it, like, if they want physical media or not. And I'm getting my butt kicked. Okay, I got to him. Ooh, that was cool. And I got some health that I desperately needed. But back to what I was talking about. When it comes down to it, you know, you've got those people that actually like to collect, and they go back and they play their old games. You know, they finish a game, and, you know, they will play that game, you know, every couple of years, or, you know, however often that they play it. And, you know, that's awesome. You know what I mean? I feel like I used to be like that when I was younger. Bro, these guys are actually kind of kicking my butt, and I'm not a fan. So it also, and then you've got the third gamer that, you know, they buy one game, they play one game almost exclusively, as long as they're gaming. But either way, I think whatever archetype you fall under, and I'm sure there's many others too. You know, I'm basically just kind of pointing out most of, like, kind of like the archetype that I'm familiar with, and people, you know, myself included, and friends and family that I know. Oh yeah, that was nice. So, you know, don't let anyone shame you, or, you know, say it's good or bad, or, you know, in my opinion, it's bad that they're removing physical media, because they're just basically telling you, like, hey, like, and I guess the big worry that I really have with that, you know, it's not you spent the money and, you know, now you can't play the game or whatever, or they own the rights to whatever the game is, or, you know, all that type of stuff. For me, it's the whole licensing agreement that they have with a lot of these other, like, with a lot of these third-party companies. You know, a really good example of why it's so scary is what we just saw, and we just saw it with Sony. Oh, I've had this the whole time and I just didn't use it. I'm an idiot. And then I wasted it on one guy. We just saw Sony do it with the fact that they removed 500 and some odd number of movies that they no longer held licenses to, and people paid for those, you know. I don't know, excuse me, you know, what any one person had or what the value of what was taken away ended up amounting to. But regardless, you know, something is being bought and paid for and is being taken away essentially by force. And there's nothing you can do about it. You know, there's no lobbying, there's no refund. You know, it was not a very good situation, and in seeing that, yeah, it didn't personally affect me, because when it does come to movies, I am super old school with those. I don't so much play my consoles anymore. I actually use them as Blu-ray and DVD players now. I've got a huge DVD collection. Okay, there's a bunch of guys over there. Which way is the right way? But a lot of my favorite movies, like, I watch on DVD, you know? Yeah, you know, there's some stuff we watch on Netflix or whatever, and, you know, a lot of the stuff that the kids watch is, you know, streamed on Disney. But you know, a lot of the good classic movies from like the mid to early 2000s, where I was really into movies, I've got on DVD. And, you know, they'll never be able to take them away from me. So, you know, maybe it's the same for some people with games. It's not particularly the same for me. Like I said earlier, you know, 9 times out of 10, once I finish a game, it's rare, super rare that I go back and play it again. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's a thing. And I guess really kind of what's worrying people too is, you know, when it comes down to it, I mean, are they doing that to help combat prices? You know, maybe not from third-party publishers and stuff like that, but, you know, Sony has its own in-house studios where it publishes games. And so basically you're just saying, like, hey, you know, okay, I guess I'll punch that. You know, it's cutting down on the overall cost of physical production as well. So that's, you know, the plastic for the case, the paper, the plastic for the disc, you know, the graphic art designer who, you know, had to put together, you know, the cover for the case. So that's going to cut, I mean, in terms, and of course, it depends on the size and scale of the game itself. So is that going to help combat prices? You know what I mean? Is that what they're going to come out and say? Like, hey, you know, us doing this is going to ensure that we don't have to charge $80 a game? Or is that going to, you know, have the opposite effect where it's kind of like, hey, you know, we're still paying $80, but now it's just for a download code. And kind of the flip side of that too, is, you know, like your streaming services for games, kind of like your Game Pass, your what is it? I don't know what the PlayStation equivalent is, like the PlayStation Essential tiers, or is something along those lines. You know, where essentially you're renting the game, right? You play it, you know, they take it off the service, it is what it is. And for a type of person like me, those type of services are great for me, because I can go through a game, knock a game out, burn through a game, and for me it's irrelevant whether or not it's still on the service or I can play it again, because, you know, I've had my fill per se. So I guess too, it'll be really interesting. I really just can't see Nintendo getting away with that. I'm not a big Nintendo guy anymore. I was when I was a kid, just because, you know, realistically, PlayStation and Microsoft weren't around yet. But with Nintendo, I mean, I think, you know, they still have those little cartridges. I don't have a Switch or a Switch 2. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, they still use those little cartridges, and dumping those and going to a fully online or digital download system, I just don't think is really plausible for the Switch. I don't know how big the storage is on those consoles, to be completely honest with you, and I don't know how big the games are either. I know they have to operate on a smaller scale just because the Switch is a handheld that you can connect to the TV and go that route, but you know, this could be a really good opportunity for some of, because right now Sony's the market leader, you know, without question, and it could be an interesting strategy, let's call it. I was going to say ploy, like it was some secret some secret thing, but it could be an interesting strategy for Nintendo and Microsoft to be like, hey, you know, we're not going to eliminate... Bro, I am not stuck here. I am stuck in a glitch. Okay, I'm glad I was able to get out. I would have been pissed if I had to reload a checkpoint. But that could be a good, like, you know, a good strategy for them, potentially. I mean, you know, I know most people now just download their games. But that's not to say, I mean, I don't know what the numbers are. I think I saw something, it was like somewhere around 75 to, actually I think it was 80 or 90, 85 or 90%, sorry, of people do just download their games digitally. So that leaves, you know, a 15 to 10% market of people that prefer, you know, to have a physical copy of the game. So I'm not sure, you know, how it's going to turn out. I mean, it's just crazy over the past, I don't know, like 8 months, how just the landscape of video games and gaming has completely shifted. Christian church, huh? That is the most generic thing ever. It's just crazy how just, yeah, how different everything is. Just the price of everything. You know, and I think the really big thing that will come from at least Sony not just doing digital only, it's going to be a killer for, I think it'll be the final nail in the coffin for GameStop.
In the street, sinking into the mud, sick and feverish and waiting for death. In that moment, I realized that humanity does not evolve at all. Humans are both weak and cruel. Those on top will always exploit those they consider their inferiors. Those who have nothing will continue to do all the work, while those who have everything will do none of it.
Oh, that's pretty much how the world works, unfortunately. But yeah, I feel like it'll be the nail in the coffin for GameStop. You know, I don't know a lot of people that are going out of their way to go to a GameStop store to buy a PlayStation game code or an Xbox game code in person and then come home and put it in, you know.
It's between you and me, you little leech. Let them go.
Humans build empires in the name of progress, with no thought spared for those paying the mortal cost of their quest for glory. That is true vampirism. My kind would never leave one of their children to die, crying in the gutter.
I won't let you turn them.
You don't listen! They don't matter, Jesse Rentier. The sooner you understand that, the better.
Yikes. Okay, okay, let me get my bearings here, see what we got actually going on. Okay. Alright, well, I'm gonna go ahead and use this now and beat this big guy up. You know, there's also a flip side to that, because I know, you know, the big thing with GameStop, I mean, I don't go there anymore. I haven't been there in years. Is obviously their buy and sell and trade and their resale market, right? Oh my goodness. I did not set myself up for success on that one. Is the resale market, right? So they lose that, but then at the same, like, I feel like also it's kind of like how old Nintendo games are now, with, you know, just how valuable they are. Because, you know, you see like prime copies. I mean, I just saw the other day that somebody had bought a physical graded copy of Modern Warfare 2 for the Xbox 360, and they paid $18,000 for it. So it's like going to open an entirely new collector's market of, you know, people buying rare physical copies of games too. Which would also be a really interesting, just a really interesting thing to happen, just to see, I guess, even like with just with my time specifically, because you know, I grew up playing Nintendo, and it's kind of like I understand like that those consoles are retro, and you know, with them being retro and with them being rare, that creates a higher demand for them. So just kind of thinking about, you know, because I've got like a brand new sealed copy of Elden Ring, and it's like, cool, like, am I going to be able to sell that in the future for like $900 for the PS5? Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of crazy just to think about, like, you know, I may not live to see crazy, like, inflated prices like we're seeing now for some of these older collectors and graded versions of these games. But it is crazy to think about, you know, like, there's going to be, you know, coming up in the next couple of years, you know, there's going to be a whole market for that stuff all over again. So it'll be interesting to see how all that shakes out. And get out of here, shield guy. And just to see how the dominoes fall, realistically. Because it'll be interesting. And, you know, there's also been a lot of backlash that they've been facing too, and initially, and it's kind of interesting when you think about it, because I feel like it's not so much the fact that people want to specifically buy physical copies of games. It's the choice, right? When you leave people and consumers feel like they just don't have a choice anymore, and you make that choice for them, I think that's what realistically has everybody more up in arms than the actual, like, hey, you don't buy physical games anyway, or like, why do you care, you know, angle from it. And it'll be interesting to see with, you know, your local retailers and stuff. For console games specifically, I mainly play on PC now, and when you play on PC, I mean, you download everything. You know, it's not much different with Steam. I feel like Steam has a little bit more public trust, especially in the PC community, just because I mean, they have awesome sales and all that stuff. But the nice thing is there's also another game launcher called GOG, G-O-G. And the beautiful thing about GOG is that, yes, when you buy a game, they give you a license for the game so you can play it. But then they also give you like a physical, or not a physical, but it's a digital file that you download onto your computer, so you own the game.
Humanity exists within cycles. If you live long enough, you notice the patterns that govern it. The pendulum may swing left and right, but ultimately things remain the same. Exploitation, pain, and misery. It may look different, but it persists. The only way out is to break that pattern.
Why is she just like leaving her journal diaries, her journal entries just laying around for us to find? Okay, let's squeeze through here and fight all these guys. Come on, let me cannonball. I know, it just, man, like I mentioned in an earlier episode, just the dependence on the bumpers for this game makes it kind of hard sometimes to hit these cannonballs, because, well, I play with an Xbox controller, and their bumpers are not exactly the greatest bumpers. Oh, now you're just giving me one of these guys? Bro, this was a boss fight. Okay, well, we're going to use that now on this guy. I want to get rid of him as quickly as possible. Okay, let's zap this guy and get going on him. Oh, great. See, this is why I wanted to get rid of him as quickly as possible, because now I can't see. We're going to use this now. And take out as many of these guys as possible. Sorry, my thoughts got kind of fragmented, because I feel like sometimes if I'm too focused on what I'm talking about, then I end up getting my butt kicked because I can't, because I'm not focusing enough. But yeah, I'm just kind of trying to collect my thoughts a little bit, because it's like, just even thinking about it, like it's like, for me, it's the end of an era, and it's a ultimately sad time. Just to think like, hey, if they all follow suit, and there's no more physical media at all, then it's like, where does that leave everything, you know? Consumer choice is at, you know, at least in the gaming sphere, is at essentially an all-time low with something like that happening. Cram. Oh yeah, I need to kick those guys when they do that. Yeah, consumer choice is at an all-time low, and it kind of just, I don't know, it just leaves people feeling bitter, you know, when you take stuff away from them, or you take choice away from them. They just really don't like that. I mean, I know I don't like it. I mean, I can't imagine there's too many people that love just ultimately, outside of work or employment, being told what they can and can't do, and how they can and can't spend their money. So it will be interesting to see the fallout from that, and see where that goes. And what do we got here? Can I shoot that?
Here, which means the transports aren't ready. Must have caught her off guard.
Oh, okay, that opened up something.
Good.
Oh, okay. So I gotta look for 3 or 2 other ones for me to shoot. I think there's one up here. Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be crazy just to see how that shakes out. And just see how people react to it, and what the fallout ultimately ends up being. I don't know how I saw this. Well, they're not even letting me shoot it. How about there? There we go. Okay, so we got that open. That didn't take us too long. Didn't have to search too much. Oh, and we got an upgrade bench. What do we get now? I'm not sure what weapon that is. Oh, that turns this into a railgun? AK? Yeah, let's take that. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And then if you found any of this interesting, go ahead and drop a subscribe. Definitely helps out the channel a bunch. And, you know, kind of working on kind of pivoting a little bit. As far as not so much my strategy for my channel, but what I'm talking about, because I feel like just narrating the game really doesn't do all that much. I really like talking about games and all the impact and all the different stuff that's going on, like with the game's world. And I feel like this is a great place to do it while we're playing games. So that's kind of the pivot I'm trying to make a little bit. Just you know, keep things a little bit more engaging. Yeah, I'm sure I have more than enough bucks to buy stuff, but I don't want to at this moment. Thank you very much, game. Right. Yeah, outside of that, I did see another thing today. It'll be interesting to see how this shakes out. A lot of the developers at Rockstar have decided to unionize against Rockstar. So it will be increasingly interesting to see what kind of goes down that road. If you followed anything with game development over the past, I want to say 10 years, there's been an exorbitant amount of what they call crunch, where they've got people working, you know, 14, 16, 18-hour shifts just to get stuff done in a short amount of time, which just isn't feasible. And it's honestly, you know, I'm sure they're paid well enough, but not well enough to, you know, have to deal with anything like that. Oh, you ran up to me and you zapped yourself. That's even better. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. And, you know, see if there's any, like, backlash or, you know, any type of, I don't know. I feel like it's almost one of those things where, you know, you're messing with the big corporate overlords' pocketbooks because you want more money, and they obviously only ever care about money. So when you're trying to get into their pocketbook to take something away from them, which is deserved, you know, if you work hard for something and you create something that's a masterpiece or something like that, you 100% deserve to be compensated fairly. No doubt about that.
I was born into pain and misery, shunned, ignored, exploited, waiting hand and foot on those with inherited wealth. We survived so they could thrive. I was barely living and hoping to die when he found me and gave me a choice. The only price I had to pay was giving up the memory of human warmth. To begin my new life, I had to bury my past.
So she was human at some point, and now she's like a human vampire hybrid, almost kind of like a, I almost want to call her like a daywalker, kind of like Blade. Yeah, I use a lot of Blade references when it comes to vampires. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see, yeah, how that unionization goes, because companies don't like it when you do that, because then they have to pay you and treat you fairly, and that means crunch goes away. And then on top of that, knowing the way corporations operate and publishers are going to be like, hey, we had to pay your devs more and we couldn't crunch them, so now it's going to take 15 years for our next game to come out. And then on top of that, we're going to charge you $120 because we had to pay them more because they unionized, and we're not going to lose money for that. Which is a really shitty thing that I feel like just companies do in general. They never eat the cost, right? No one's ever, or no company is ever going to lose money to eat cost, ever. That's just unfortunately how it is. They pass all of that cost on to us, the consumer. So, you know, perfect example. That's why McDonald's doesn't have a dollar menu anymore. You know, the cost of buns and chicken and, you know, whatever beef they get and all this and that, you know, went up 65 cents a box. You know, they're not going to eat that 65 cents. They're going to raise their menu prices, you know, whatever they need to raise them to. You know, if it's going to be 65 cents, you know, they're going to raise it, you know, $1.25 for the price. So they're going to overcompensate for that, and they're just going to continue to see their profits continue to grow. I'm kind of just wondering, you know, and that's pretty much with everything. Doesn't really matter what it is. But I'm kind of wondering when we're going to see that breaking point with video games, where the industry is basically at the point where people are like, look, I'm not gonna buy games anymore. You know, I see, you know, just looking around online and interacting with people online, I've seen so many people that are like, I mean, I really don't care if games go up to 80 bucks a pop. You know, I saw one guy, he was like, yeah, I've got like 145 games in my Steam backlog. I mean, that guy's got enough games to basically play for the rest of his life, depending on his age and how much he actually games. You know, and I just had this like interesting thought. I wonder, so kind of a community question, what is the most amount of games that you have played and finished like to completion in 1 year? I'm trying to think. For me, when I was a kid, when I had more time, like maybe in my early 20s, I don't know, Call of Duty ate up a lot of that time, to be honest with you.
Life is all about survival. The strong eat the weak. There's nothing honorable about letting the weak prevail. But there is a way I can save them and give their life meaning beyond what the world gives them now. No one deserves a life filled with fear and pain. Not even William Rentier.
Dang, I really don't like that guy. I'd say for me, I mean, anywhere between like 10 to 12, maybe, I think would be... Oh, I pushed the wrong damn button. 10 to 12 would be, I think, a good number for me on that. But I don't know. It just sucks to see everything kind of... I mean, it does, but it doesn't. Oh, am I fighting somebody?
All aboard! The train's about to leave the station. Do you hear them singing? That's humanity's requiem. You can be mankind's last sad note, or you can be part of a new opening chord of progress. It's only natural to feel fear while standing on the precipice of change. Sometimes what you need is a little push. Try not to kill him, my child. Let it break poor William's heart.
Bro, what the hell is that? It's also fast, which I don't like. I haven't yet figured out what it's trying to... Oh, well, I guess I should keep shooting that. Oh, Jesus. Oh, what? What? Now there's multiple? Get away from me, bro. I'm already almost dead. Like, all I can do right now is just run and hope that it doesn't shoot anything at me. I mean, I guess I can shoot it with this. Oh, man. Okay. Maybe I should take that thing out? I'm not really sure what it's doing. Okay, he's going up there. We're not gonna let him do whatever he was... Oh, okay. Okay, you guys... Luckily, I did take that perk that when I slaughter somebody, it gives me a health pickup. Yeah, I don't want to keep getting hit with those. Let me get these guys out of here. Okay, now he's coming back down. Wow, I just missed that entire shotgun blast. Oh my goodness. Bro, what is this boss right now? What hit me? That's insane. Okay, well, I'm going to fight him a little bit more on the conservative side from now on. And use my weapons as opposed to just constantly running up to him. Okay, and then there's these things. I mean, luckily these things don't, oh, that's what he hit me with. Okay. Okay, well, sorry, buddy. I'm not gonna let you just sit there and, hit me with those. Yeah, he's linky and slimy. I don't know what he's doing, so I'm gonna punch him a little bit. And then we got these things. Don't know what they're doing. Being annoying. I don't think so. There we go. Gun filled up now. We can hit an E combo on him. Blast him with a shotgun. And we'll heal up. He's just standing there, so he is really letting me fill up my gauge. Okay, get me away from them. This is not good. This is like really not good. We're just gonna have to keep moving. We are almost... Okay, we're just moving because he's shooting stuff at us again. Okay, we were able to get our health. So that was big. Reload that bad boy. Okay. Can I punch these things? I don't want to punch those things. I'm going to use this though, because he can't do nothing to me while I'm in here. Oh no, I don't know what this is. It's gonna end up killing me though. Come on, heal, heal, heal. Oh my goodness, that was unbelievably close. And I almost have my cross zap thing that I 100% need to use. And I'm almost dead again. So now we're just diving around until... Okay, I did not want him shooting at me again. I don't think so, buddy. Okay, this fight has been pretty intense. Dang it. He was like one hit away from... Is he still taking damage? Okay, so when he hits me with that, it refills his health. I really don't like that. But I know he's almost there. Okay, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure he's ready to... Okay, now we're gonna back away from you. He's almost done. Alright. Stab him in the chest with his own legs.
Adapt or die.
Alright, she like transformed into some crazy gross thing?
There you are. I was starting to worry you'd never wake up. Feels like I got hit by a train. Those demons in Dickinson did a real number on you. Still, you'll live to fight another day. For all the good it did me. We all have our crosses to bear, my son. Even our Lord Jesus Christ fell 3 times on the fateful road to Calvary. We are none of us immune to trials of the flesh.
At least he could finish his mission.
Oh, come now. Here I thought you Rentiers were made of sterner stuff.
You heard of us? How?
A few of your agents set up camp in the mountains a while back. Quiet lads, but goodness, were they fond of their moonshine.
Didn't know we had a cell up here.
The lightning storms at their camp did much to stoke local superstition about thunderbirds and other such nonsense.
Hold on. Did you say lightning storms?
When they were deep in their cups, they'd ramble on and on about how they could channel the power of lightning through their metal gloves.
I need to contact my people in Calico. Is there a telegraph station nearby?
A couple of miles south, sure. But there's one small problem.
Probably should have led with that, Padre.
They started creeping out from the holes in the ground after we got back from Dickinson. Lord knows how many of them there are by now.
Send your fastest man out to the telegraph station, then get everyone into the church and stay put until dawn.
Before you go, Hunter, one of your people left this explosive contraption here last time. We were afraid to even touch it, but I'm sure you'll put it to good use. Is there anything more we can do to help?
Pray.
We like explosions. We like exploding stuff. Explosive bundles. Compact and practical belt holding explosive charges. Dispense straight into a throwing hand. Use it with down on the D-pad. Okay. Yeah, that's a perfect place to stop. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's greatly appreciated. Hopefully, you know, not really so much hopefully, but let me know what you think about, you know, the whole Sony digital only future that they've got in store for everybody. And yeah, if you've got time, definitely check out some of what else we got going on the channel. You know, I've got 007 First Light up there, Resident Evil Requiem, Pragmata. Coming up in the future, you know, I'm going to get the Halo CE re-release coming out on there, Control Resonant. I'm still kind of debating on what's coming up next, but I'm kind of leaning towards the new Attack on Titan 3 game. We'll kind of have to just see what's coming up, but yeah, and if you found any entertainment value, please consider dropping a like and subscribing. Yeah, and with that being said, we will catch you on the next one.